Hello everyone. Today I'll be a guide to show you how you can run old PC games in your Windows handheld devices. Some of these steps will also help you out in running many games which typically require a mouse and keyboard setup. Most probably these will be FPS games, old FPS games or even new ones, which will help you out using your controllers on your handheld device. At the end of this video, I'll be showing you some of the games that I have played on my OG Legion GO. For the purpose of this video, I have used an external controller, a DualSense controller that is connected to the Legion GO. This method supports both external and the onboard controllers. So only for the purpose of this video, so that you guys can see the screen properly, I have connected an external controller. Now, if you want to play very old games like Project IGI or NFS2, you would require something called Dgvoodoo. It's a software and it will enable you to play very old games like these. So once you have the setup, then you need an input mapping software, something like Keysticks or Antimicro X. So once you have this installed, you would need to create some profiles based on your game's input mapping, right, or keyboard controls, mouse controls, etc. Once you have that enabled, combining both of these, you can even use Steaminput instead of Keysticks for certain games. It also is one of the great options. And once you have all of these, I think you should be in a good position to run these games on your handheld devices. So without further ado, let's get started on how to get these installed and show you some gameplay. Let's start with the Dgvoodoo setup now. So in order to install Dgvoodoo, you need to search for it on Google and select the GitHub options that you see here. Once you go to GitHub, scroll a little bit down, you'll be seeing a zip file. Just click on that to download it. Now I have already downloaded it, as you can see here. Now once you download it, you can extract it to a dedicated folder. In this case, I have created a dedicated folder on my handheld C directory. So I've extracted all the files here. Now based on the game's engine or rendering method, there are different options that is given to you. So it's 3dfx. If you see some of the games use 3dfx, you have to copy these files into the game directory. So based on your game's rendering method, it basically has different options. Now for older DirectX based games, you have to copy these files, which are under the x86 folder, under MS folder. Now that you have extracted all the files into a folder, there is another option which you can try, which is copy directly from the zip file into the game directory. That is also possible. For the purpose of this video, I have directly extracted everything into a folder so that it's clearer. So now I've chosen a game, Project IJ in this case. So you have to go to the game directory and then copy. So in this case, if you see, IGI uses an older DirectX version. So in this case, you have to choose MS x86 and copy all the files from here and then just drag and drop here. So I've already copied it, so you can just copy it directly. After this is done, you can also copy Dgvoodoo CPL and Dgvoodoo conf, both of these over here as well. Again, I've copied it. Now once you have these, all you need to do is open the CPL application. Right now, in this case, if you have any antivirus enabled, it will probably pop up a dialog. So you have to allow access or add it to exclusions, right? So it's a false positive. Now once you have this, open this page. Now from these, just go to directors directly and make sure that you have selected the Dgvoodoo virtual 3D accelerated card. This is selected by default. If you do not have it selected, just select this. You can set the memory around 1 GB to 2 GB. If you have a very old game which crashes on start, possibly you can select it to around 256 MB. But for this game, I have set it as 1 GB. Then come down here and click on the fast video memory access. Now you can remove this Dgvoodoo watermark if you don't want it in the game. So if you want, if trying it from the first time, you can just keep it on so that you see that it is working. Once you have it working, you can disable it later on. So once this is done, you can click on apply and then OK, and then you can go and start the game. Okay, so now that you have your old games running with Dgvoodoo, now let's look at how do we map the controls to our inbuilt controllers of our handheld devices. So for that we need software like Keysticks or Anti-Micro-X. So to download that, just go to Google, search for Keysticks. Anti-Micro-X is also an option. You also have Steaminput, which is inbuilt to Steam. We will go through that sometime later. So for our case, let's start with Keysticks because that's what I have installed. So just go to the official site and then click on download. I already have it available, so just click on the setup. Just follow the steps, it should install it. Should take just a few moments. I've already installed it, so I'll cancel this. Now you have it installed. Now you can open it using the shortcut, or you can search it on the search bar. So you click on it, it opens the default layout. So this is how it looks like. This is how Keysticks layout looks like, and there are a few options which you can select to open different menus. So the first one is to choose a profile, the second one is to edit the profile. So you click on the first icon, it will open a list of profiles that you have. So under my profiles you will have all your custom saved profiles, and then you have the download area where you would find public profiles which you can download and use. So it's a big list. Unfortunately, I don't see any search option here, so you have to scroll and find your own games if you want, right? So coming back to my profiles, let's take an example of project IGI, right? So if you click on this, if you double click on this, it will load it, and you can click on edit, right, to see how it's being configured. So all of this is done manually. So in this case, if you want to understand, the left stick is bound to WASD and the D-pad is bound to 4 keys. So the left and the right D-pads will simulate a mouse scroll up and down, and the top D-pad button would be the escape button and the bottom D-pad would be the down arrow, right? And then you have other buttons X, Y, A, B also mapped to certain keyboard letters and F10 buttons, and then you have space which is for jump, and then you have right click and left click for fire and alternate fire functions, right? So this is how you do it. So once you save this and you click on OK, it will apply. And if you want to create a new profile, that is what you would do initially. So just go to this taskbar, under icons or hidden icons you would find this Keysticks logo. Just right click on it and just click on create a new profile. When you do this, you will find that there are empty boxes here. So obviously all of these buttons you can map however you want. So let's say if you want to map the right stick to mouse movement, so you can click on the center option. Quick edit is a good option to immediately set up some predefined functions. So let's say if it's for you to move the mouse, you hover over mouse and then click on control the pointer, right? So it automatically assigns that function to the right stick. Now if you want to edit this more detail, you want to increase the sensitivity or something like that, you can edit here. So increase the speed, and then you can click on fix speed, etc, etc. So there are different minute fine tuning that you can do from the edit menu as well, right? Once you do that, just click on update and then close this, right? And then let's say if you want to use WSD or arrow keys with the left stick, you again click on the center, click on quick edit, and then you see this, there's something called combination, and then either you can select for arrow keys. So make sure you use the hold option for moving the character in games. If it's arrow, obviously that might be older games. For newer games, you can select WASD, right? So if you click on this, it automatically assign it WASD in this 4 directions, right? So this is how you do it. And the other buttons, are triggers and all, you can assign. So let's say you are done with the assignment based on the game, you can click on apply, right? Now if I just move the triggers, right, so you'll see that it start working. So if you see, this WASD is moving. If I move the stick, right stick, it will control the mouse, as you can see here. So I'm actually moving the stick here, right? So this is how it works. So there are more advanced controls, but to get started, this is how you do it. You can assign certain keys, methods. You can also use text, which you can enter here, right? So if you see type keys there, hold keys there, you can use different options here and assign them accordingly as per your game. So once you do it, click on OK. Now if you want to again visit this, just open the my profile section, and then you can load. Just double click on any of these, it will load that profile. So let's say if you want to play maybe Delta Force 2, just double click on this. So now it has loaded Delta Force 2. Now you can just launch the game directly, so it will start working. There's one more thing that you should remember, that is elevation. So if your game is running in administrator mode, you should also make sure that the Keysticks application is also running in admin mode. So you can do that by right clicking on it and then running it as admin, right? That's also something that you have to remember, because if one of them is running an elevated mode, probably the keys won't respond to the mapping, right? So that is also something that people might face. Another option is using Steaminput. So let's take a look at how we do that. So here I've taken an example of Unreal Tournament 99. So if you want to add this, just go to add on Steam game, and then here you can click on browse and then select the exe, click on apply. Once you have it, you can go to this controller option, click on it, and then you can see this layout option. Now the current button layout says UT99, which I have already created for this video. So if you click on it, as you can see, there's a default option called gamepad, which you have to click first, and you can edit it. So this is the profile that you have currently. Once you click on that, you can create a mapping on your own depending upon the game. Open the edit option. This is how it will look like, and you can map all of these buttons to whichever buttons you want as per the game's controller layout or keyboard mouse layout, right? And once you have that, so in this case UT99, I have kept different buttons as WASD on the left joystick, and then you have the D-pad for scroll up and down to change the weapons. Then you have the mouse click for fire option, and then you have the escape key. So all of these are configured here. Now once you have created this layout, what you can do is you can come to this page and then click on the layout that you have created just now, click on it, and then you see this option where you can apply this layout, right? So once you have this, just click on it. It will now apply this layout to your control mapping. Now you can go back, you can start the game.
need some backup! Incoming! I need some backup! I'm under heavy attack!
Now, in case you want to connect an external controller, like the thing just I have done right now, so I've connected a DualSense controller to my Legion Go. Now, if you want to play with this external controller and use Keysticks or any other mapping software, you need to make sure that the software is actually selected or having that option where you select the external controller, right? So in Keysticks, you have to select a profile. So let's say I have selected, maybe let's select something. So let's select project IGI maybe. Right? Let's double click on this. So now project IGI. Okay. And then load, right? Now what I'll do is I'll again come back to edit this profile and go to inputs, and under inputs just open this drop down. You'll see that there are two gamepads here. Right now, why is this? You see also see a DualSense. Now why I did this was Keysticks primarily uses an Xbox controller layout. So what I've done is I have installed DSX. I'm sure that you will find tutorials how to set up DSX. So what it does is translates whatever, you know, or emulates, you can say. It's emulating whatever you select here, right? So you can emulate, stop emulating obviously, which is the first option, or you can emulate the current controller into an Xbox controller or something like that. So DualShock to DualSense, PS5 to DualShock or something like that. So it can emulate different types of controllers. So right now I've selected that it will emulate an Xbox controller, but it's a DualSense controller, so it will emulate it as a virtual Xbox controller, right? So that's what I've done. So that is what it is doing right now. And in this case, I've selected the second one, which is gamepad. The first one is the onboard Legion Go controller, and which is something that I have to select if you want to use the existing onboard controllers. But right now I want to use the extended or the external controller, right? So that's why I'll select the controller 2 option. Now once I have done that, I'll apply and then click on OK. Now actually I'm moving the stick here, if you see, and it's actually reflecting those WASD keys: escape, mouse scroll, and then you have the mouse movement, right? So that's how it works. So this is how you do it for external controllers. Now if you're disconnecting it, it will probably go back to the original control itself, but if it's not working, just make sure that the input is again back to the default controller. So if it's choose controller you only see one, then I think there shouldn't be a problem. So if you don't have any external controllers attached, it should by default choose the onboard controllers.
I'm hit! Learn how to aim! Dirtbag! I'm hit! I'm in position. Headshot. I'm hit. You suck. Under heavy attack. I'm under heavy attack.
Bravo, this is King 6. Intel confirms several Scud sites in the area. Take them out. Bravo, watch for patrols along your route. Bravo, this is King 6. There's a patrol to the west along your route. Stay quiet and avoid contact. Bravo, this is King 6. Area secure. Move on to the next target.